The Vault is the fourth picture we've made for Big City Pictures. And it's the first one we've taken out of town. We shot that one on location in Arizona.
I had started producing a series of movies for Full Moon under my Tempe Entertainment Company, the first of which was Horror Vision, and then we did Stitches. And the third one was always intended to be one of their urban titles from the Big City Pictures label, and in this case it was The Vault. And The Vault was a project that Mel Johnson had been developing prior to us coming into the picture.
I mean, you know, I, along with Charlie Band, think up the ideas, the concepts, and you know, we hire a writer to build the concept of The Vault. And then we take it from there.
When we got involved, I wanted to take the script in a little bit different direction, so I hired Doug Snoffer, who had written Witch House 2 Blood Coven for me, and he did a rewrite on it with Mel. I suggested to Charlie that we bring in Doug, and Doug worked with Mel and James Black to just play up and augment the script and really flesh it out so that the story was something that we all wanted, and so that it didn't come off too stereotypical or too, you know, traditional. I mean, it's a fairly traditional plot anyways, but there's some key moments where it takes a course where you might not expect it to, and I think that's part of the fun of it.
I mean, sometimes we even think of a poster first, but we didn't this time.
I think I wanted something to be suspenseful and to have people jump and to be afraid and actually talk back to the screen. I wanted folks to say, "Don't go in there. Why are you going in there? Don't do that. That's just wrong."
And one of the exciting things about this one is the director. James Black actually acted in our first film for Big City Pictures, which was Alchemy at the time. Ragdoll. He had a great role in Ragdoll, and we really liked him in that.
The beginning for me as an actor is when I met JR back in Ohio, and he just completed Dead Next Door, and I heard a little bit about that, and I got to know him through word of mouth who he was.
I was introduced to James Black as an actor back in 1991. I was producing a series of movies. I am loath to say the name of the movie, but I will. It was a picture called Zombie Cop, and basically we were looking to fill the part of a black voodoo doctor.
I believe you'll find a young, hungry James Black stomping around with a Jamaican accent.
My co-producer, Scott Plummer, had gone to Akron University to school with a guy named James Black. And James, his biggest claim to fame at that point was he had been on the Cleveland Browns briefly.
He was open to the idea of allowing me to audition for him, and Ozone came out of that. I think that was my first JR film.
So when I called him about Horror Vision, he agreed to do it, and then the next thing I know, he came to me asking to play director, and The Vault was a perfect opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I've known him since we were like literally in our late teens, early 20s is when we met, and he's been reckless.
When he approached me about directing, didn't surprise me. I'm surprised it took him so long, more than anything else.
We sat down and had a conversation one day, and I told him a little bit about my interest in directing, and he was happy enough, and he was trusting enough to let me let a first-time director on board.
It was a project that he had some very clear ideas about, and when I hired Doug Snoffer to rewrite the script, the two of them worked very closely on it, along with Mel Johnson, and I think that really made the Vault something more special than it might have been.
But he stepped up, and he focused. I'd never seen him, that focus since we were kids, since we were in college, and he did a great job.
James is a great director. He's simple. He listens. He's not coming. When I say simple, I mean he's not coming at you with, a million different things to do. He's not, just telling you things and just it's kind of going all over the place. He knows what it is he wants. He tells you to do it.
He's unbearable.
He's the same always. Always kind-hearted, good-loving fellow, just easygoing, real funny. Cat is real funny.
He's a tyrant. He's
an actor himself, so he really understands how an actor works, and it was like a blessing because he was able to really convey to us exactly what he was looking for, and there was no like misunderstanding between the director and the actor, which is like so crucial.
do it my way. That's his favorite thing to say when he's trying to direct. If you direct.
James made it a very relaxed environment, which is an amazing thing for a director because he pretty much sets the tone for how the production is going to go. It was just a very relaxed atmosphere. Everybody was having a great time. There was no pressure on anybody at any time to do anything, and he let us play with all the characters that we wanted to do. He let us perform.
Do it my way. That's directing.
You don't like me telling you what to do?
You suck.
One of the jobs that I really enjoy is involved in casting, and so I was really integrally involved in picking the cast and working with the writers and getting the script to the shape that, I really thought would be great.
I was lucky enough to find 4 high schoolish actors here in Los Angeles. These guys worked hard every day. They came to set knowing their lines. Great kids. You're going to see a lot more from these people that you see in the film Evolve.
We always go for the best, and we really lucked out with this cast. We got a great bunch of kids and actors to come through, and I think gave James everything he needed.
It was a very solid cast, and I for some reason I have to attribute that. I mean, all the big city movies, the acting has always been a little bit better than average, and I don't know if that's because there's a wealth of talent with black actors that people don't know about or don't take advantage of, or what that is. But I definitely think in the case of The Vault, we had one of the better casts of any of the recent stuff that we've probably, that Full Moon has done or the Big City has done.
The music in the movie The Vault is an amazing piece in and of itself.
This picture has that urban feel. And the one thing that I wanted to do was always give it that deep, low bass line and those drums that moved you, and the hip-hop, urban type feel throughout the whole movie.
I call the genre, or the type of music that we have, is black horror music.
In some ways, the score is very eclectic in that on top I keep it orchestral, but down on the bottom of the score, it's always something that's really hip-hop.
He had a good mixture of the horror stuff mixed with sort of the R&B angle. It was a perfect mixture. A lot of the big city movies in the past, I felt that the songs were good, but the score always was sort of lacking. So this was, I think, the perfect combination of the songs that were in it as well as the score all sort of working together, and that's totally credited to Les.
I can't say enough good things about Les. The music speaks for itself. I was thrilled to hear it, and to actually see the film with the music takes it to a whole nother level.
I described exactly what I wanted, and he would giggle and laugh. And then he would come up with the most amazing music, I think, that you've heard in a horror flick in quite some time.
We shot except for the exteriors that you see, the opening of the movie and stuff, we shot the entire movie inside the school. And it was a great location and a great character in the movie.
I think working in the school, it was very dusty, so that was a challenge because some people had to wear masks over their mouths because it was, the dust.
That school was so interesting that I brought my own video camera, and I spent more time focusing on the things in the school than anything else. I mean, this school was like dilapidated. It was really broke down. You know, there was already graffiti and stuff in there. You know, I mean, of course, you know, we put on more, but it was just gone.
The set itself was intriguing. You know, you had to know that because I don't like rodents. And they were there, you know, but we got along. They left me alone, I left them alone. You know.
When we first got there and we scouted the building, it's an amazing space. It's huge. The basement, the floors, the broken windows, everything worked perfectly. I couldn't have asked for a better set, and we had the full run of the place.
It was not without its share of problems because the conditions inside the school, there was so much dust and dirt in that school that everyone had to wear face masks to, you know, to even attempt to breathe in there. And we had, there was an occasion where the gaffer had gotten ill as a result of that school as well. I mean, I think a number of people did, but it was that was kind of the only real problem area of shooting in there.
The water, the ceilings were leaking. There was dirt and grime everywhere, and it looked as if we had gone into Arizona and actually built this place. It was a perfect setup. It was a perfect set.
I mean, there must have been like 1 million birds that have lived in there from like the dawn of time, that just lived there and just like ate and just enjoyed having this free shelter.
Obviously, we couldn't really find a vault door that was 100% the way we wanted it. So normally on Horror Vision and Stitches, we had sort of winged it a little bit with the production design and didn't really have one person doing that job. And on the vault, I was introduced to Tammy Sutton, who had done The Dead Hate the Living for Dave Parker and Full Moon, and she has such energy and drive and really is a huge fan of horror movies. I think her website is like horrorartdirector.com or something like that. I mean, she just lives for this kind of stuff. So Tammy was the natural person to come in and do this, and we had already gotten her to work on Groom Lake, which was the show we were shooting after this, and so we put her to work and made her tag team and double up, and she did a fantastic job pretty much by herself with her and some of the interns doing everything, and really helped make that school look even creepier than it was.
The neighborhood was like abandoned, almost like everything was like boarded up. It was like there was no civilization. The only thing like humans or like life that was around were homeless people.
Some locations were better than others, of course, because it was a big school. But when you really got way down deep inside that school, it was a little tough going.
I'm fascinated, completely in awe of people that do special effects because their brain works in a way that I don't understand. I'm sitting there. There's a process that you have to go through to do special effects, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of planning, and if you don't do it right, it just looks stupid.
The heart was actually, I guess I could say this, actually a cow's heart that was cut down to maybe twice or 3 times the size of a human heart, so you could see it when it's yanked out. Believe it or not, no matter how gruesome it looked, it was very tasty.
You know, the only thing I didn't like, it was really, really sticky, the stuff that they used. And, man, it was all in my hair. As you can see, I got, you know, my hair is kind of long, so it was messy, man.
The special effects guys, again, just made the scene so much more believable. And you were able to get into character even that much more.
Willie's was great because they like chopped this pole in half and then like, you know, put it on his body, and they had like guts and bananas and just all kinds of like food particles like falling out of this pipe, and I was just thanking God that I didn't have to die.
We have certain things happening. I don't want to go into too much detail, but when the head gets chopped off, there's a process, and it takes a while to do things like that.
They had put a green cloth partially over his head, and they had a makeup effect that ran, I think, diagonally across his face, and the rest of it was covered up by the green bag. And when I got the shot, I used the computer and I took out the green bag, and there was still some residual greenness to it because it wasn't evenly lit and whatnot. So I then masked out the rest of the residual green, you know, so it looked like his head had been cut off in an angle, and I think it looked pretty convincing.
It was fun to watch. I was amazed, and now I know a little more.
It took about maybe 45 minutes to put on, and I I tried to take it off myself. I didn't listen to them. I went and tried to do it myself, and I left like a little scar here. So,
For the quick as it is, it's a very effective effect. But it gave me a lot of faith in using CGI techniques to enhance, you know, traditional gore effects, because that would have been something that years ago you would never have been able to do. I mean, you would have done it with a fake head or something that would have looked, you know, ridiculous. But this guy, you see his one, you know, eyeball rolling around, and it was a very effective gag. I think it worked out quite well.
I told him before we did it that I knew exactly what we were doing. I had no idea. I didn't know what was going on. And I'm like, yes, okay, this is the angle. We're going to do it this way, and we're going to shoot that way. It's going to come together. It's going to look great. I had no idea what I was doing. But afterwards, and after you see the finished product, it worked out really nice.
It was a great place at the Ramadian University. Great people, because it's a very historic place where all the film stars and all the filmmakers had stayed in since the 60s. They would all powwow there in the old days, John Wayne and Clint Eastwood.
I mean, everybody had a blast. It was you could shoot and then hang out by the pool afterwards. And
The accommodations. They had continental breakfast.
And we basically did a lot of like in and out of each other's rooms. I hung out with Kyle, you know, plays Zipper, and Shania a lot. You know, we would just, you know, sit around and talk about LA, our experiences. You know, Kyle and I are both from New York. We talked about that a lot, music. You know, we would just take these like late night excursions, just walk around, you know what I mean, just for the hell of it.
it was like a family. We had the three of us. We were always together. You know, we hung out in each other's rooms. You know, there was a lot of partying going on, a lot of you know, a lot of drinking. You know, I was drinking like every day. You know.
I was still engaged in a quarter at UCLA, so my evenings were spent emailing my professors and sending in reports. And you know, after 12 days on, you know, 12 hours on set, it was like, wow.
we decided, in order to keep it on a very tight release schedule, we had the editor, Dave Kane, came out to Tucson and actually edited. We set him up in a hotel room, and he would edit as they were shooting.
So if there was a problem, we knew right then.
I was really happy on The Vault to finally work with Mike King, the director of photography. Mike was somebody who had a very similar background to me. He was from Dayton, Ohio, and he and his filmmaking partner, Jim Van Beber, had made a series of movies, including Deadbeat at Dawn, and some of the things that were sort of cult classics along the lines of some of the stuff that we had done in our early days, like The Dead Next Door. And Mike and I had kept in touch because he had done a lot of the videography for the Full Moon video zones for the making of.
He was quick. He understood exactly what I wanted to get done.
Mike, it comes through from JR, and every time I see him on set, he would be like, hi Chuck, hi Mike. I mean, this guy worked hard and never complained, and this movie looks great. James and Mike teamed up and brought a great vision here.
He had never shot a full movie for Full Moon, so it was something that he wanted to do, and it was something I very much wanted him to do. And I knew Mike well enough to know that he was the type of DP that would take whatever we could give him and make something out of it. And a lot of DPs, that's not the case. A lot of DPs, you tell them, I have this much money to spend, and they want to expand it to this big, and you just can't do it. With Mike, I could say, I have this much money to spend, and here's the equipment we have, and he gave me way beyond what we should have had, and every little tool or toy that we did have, he took absolute maximum advantage of.
Mr. B, who plays my teacher, he used to make fun. He was making fun of me on the set because, you know, I wanted to look good. on film. So I would do, I'd go in the mirror. I'm always looking in the mirror, putting Vaseline on my lips and just making sure, I look all right. And he would always kid me like before the take. He's like, "Well, you all right? Do you need anything? Everybody stop work, see if Kyle is okay." And everybody's like, "Oh, you look good, pretty boy. You always worry about yourself, and you're gonna look good on camera." So those are funny things. They tease me a lot on the set about me being a pretty boy.
It was cool, just a little hard work I had to do, not much, just a little spray painting. It was just, the whole experience was fun. I really can't say much more about it.
I'm dancing around with this skeleton, having a good time, trying to scare her. And, she sees the word, "release me," that appears on the chalkboard. I thought that was kind of a really good moment within the film.
Horror movies and horror films haven't really been a part of my life. They've always been like, "Oh, that's some scary stuff, leave that alone," gory, gooey, But meeting James, talking to James, I instinctively felt like I wanted to work with this guy. And like I said, the role gave me a chance to do something else, to do something different.
Everyone got along really well and just like kind of clicked. It was like we were meant to work together. So it was really like a growing experience. And we're still friends now. Actually, we talk all the time. So
Evil's always more fun to play. Good is all right. It had the good brunette had his moments, but the evil one was more fun. I wish that there was more to do, more evil.
Great. I didn't really know what to expect because I knew we were all going to Arizona to Tucson, and I knew that in its own was going to be, a huge experience for me. And I didn't really know, where the other actors were in regards to working, or even wanting to be, in Tucson or what have you.
James is a great spirit, and James is a great friend and a great person to be around and to work with. And he will always, he never takes things so seriously that he gets emotional or dramatic about it. It's just, he takes it all in stride, and it all gets done, and he knows at the end of the day that, everybody will be happy, and there's no need for strife or stress. And I think he tries to instill that on the people that he works with and the people that he's around.
If I can continue to work with good people, then who knows where it will take me.
Working on the set. Here we go.
In the scene in the movie where, what does that guy's name? Zipper? Yeah. Kyle and Zipper. Fuck it, I can't remember their names. Hold on. Don't make me laugh. Okay. Now you're making me laugh. Okay.
I met J.R. Buckwalter and James Buckwalter. Buckwalter. Did I say Buckwater?
Tell those people, is that Spud? You see, this is one of the people that we can't make a movie without. Spud.
You're dead.
When I had to hit the guy,
Hi, my name is James Black. Hi, my name is James Black.
One of the challenges of the vault that
SOB.
If I finish this film and I get another film and I suck, dude.